Hello and welcome to the Grand Line Review, your source for everything One Piece. So it's Mother's Day here in Australia, and rather than, call my own mother, I figured that we would celebrate by examining some of the best mothers in One Piece, because I think that the maternal figures are a very overlooked part of the series. There's plenty of stories happening with fathers and brothers, but mothers really do kind of get relegated to flashbacks and don't generally exist in the current timeline. Regardless, we are finally going to give them their proper time in the spotlight here today. The criteria for this list is super simple. A character must consider themselves a mother to another character, and in return, be considered a mother by that character. Pretty simple, yeah? So with that out of the way, let's begin. Welcome to the top 5 best mothers in One Piece. Number 5. Scarlet. Alright, first up we have the mother of Rebecca, and a very tragic figure, as all mothers on this list will be actually, but Scarlet is a really good representation of what it means to be a mother in the series. Scarlet was actually a member of royalty before faking her own death to be with Kyros, and the two of them raised their daughter Rebecca in a peaceful and loving environment. That is before Doflamingo began his conquest of Dressrosa. During the attack, Kyros was turned into a toy soldier, causing Scarlet and Rebecca to lose all memory of him. So after essentially becoming a single parent, Scarlet did everything she could to protect Rebecca on her own. However, while sourcing food for her daughter, Scarlet was ambushed and shot by Diamante, an officer of the Don Quixote family. With no concern for her own well-being, Scarlet used her dying words to tell the toy soldier to help her daughter. And so tragically, Scarlet passed away. However, she embodied the very essence of what it is to be a mother. Number 4. Otohime. Otohime is the mother of 4 children, most notably Shirahoshi, which should be reason enough to make this list, considering the incredible difference in their size. I mean, ouch, just ouch. And not only that, but because of royal lineage, Shirahoshi just so happens to be the ancient weapon Poseidon, meaning that Otohime quite literally gave birth to Poseidon. But the best telling factor of how great a mother Otohime was the stream of love emanating from her children whenever she was around. They were always absolutely overjoyed to see their mother and clearly thought the world of her. But outside of motherhood, Otohime was an activist promoting integration between humans and fishmen, an issue still far from satisfied in the current timeline. Otohime did her very best to teach not only her children but all children of Fishman Island about the surface world, and even rescued humans from shipwrecks. Unfortunately, her activism ultimately led to her assassination at the hands of Hody Jones, leaving her husband and children to carry on her legacy. Number 3. Vinsmoke Sora. As a mother of 5, Sora deeply cared for all of her children and was very opposed to the ideals of her husband Judge, who wished for them to become emotionless superhuman weapons. Sora even risked her life to make sure her children would be born with proper emotional capacities by taking a drug while pregnant with quadruplets. The drug was supposed to counteract the genetic surgery that she was forced to undergo and humanize her unborn children, although the drug would only end up affecting Sanji. Furthermore, this drug weakened Sora to the point of death, and she spent her final short years bedridden. Sora showed particular affection to her only daughter Reiju, as well as Sanji, being the only 2 children who were shown visiting her in hospital. Sora even ate Sanji's terribly prepared and tasting food with a smile on her face, which is just such a classical motherly thing to do. Eventually, Sora succumbed to the negative effects of taking the drug to humanize her children, and she passed away with no regrets. Number 2. Portgas D. Rouge. And unfortunately little amount is known about Rouge, except that she was the lover of Pirate King Gol D. Roger and eventual mother of Portgas D. Ace. But despite knowing very little about her personally, we do know that she was a damn fine mother. At the time of Roger's execution, Rouge was pregnant with their son, but being the Pirate King and all, the world government had heard a rumor of this child and had begun searching the whole world for any children that could have been sired by Roger. In response to this, Rouge had a simple yet devastating strategy, and that was just don't give birth. And so she kept Ace inside of her for an impossible 20 months, so that she could give her child a life free of persecution from the world government. After giving birth, Rouge died of exhaustion and used her final words to name her son Gol D. Ace. That is one hell of an effort, and I think it deserves no less than the number 2 spot. Number 1. Belle Mare. I'm sure everyone watching this video is very familiar with the story of Belle-Mère, so I won't go into it too deeply, but this ex-marine turned mother of two is pretty much the original badass woman of One Piece. She also happens to be the very first character on this list who has not had the advantage of being born into royalty or having copious resources at their disposal. As a result, Belle-Mère had a difficult time providing for her daughters, often needing to sacrifice her own well-being to ensure theirs. Belle-Mère is also the first example of a mother who is not perfect appearing on this list. Every character before her has been a more or less ideal representation of motherhood, but Belle-Mère was shown to make mistakes as a mother. And not only that, but she was shown to own those mistakes, learn from them, and rectify them as best as possible, which is without a doubt the most realistic representation of parenthood in general on this list. But what really crowns Belle-Mère as number one is the final action of her life, where she reveals that she would rather die than not publicly recognize that she has children. Just to make that clear, she did not die to save the lives of her daughters, she died to preserve the eternal bond of parent and child. So with that in mind, Belle-Mère, you are a well-deserved number one spot on this list. And that pretty much does it for the top 5 best mothers in One Piece. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to like, favorite, or subscribe, and please do go and call your mother and tell them how much you appreciate them. This has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time.